our tendency is not to notice, I would say, from my own experience. The tendency is there's a kind of negative bias. We tend to notice the problems and the difficulties and the ways in which we fall short. And I don't think that's just me. I think a lot of us have that way of relating to ourselves and to the experience of practice. So how to develop the ability to notice the goodness of our practice and the benefits of our practice, and how encouraging that is for us, because most people tend to function better when they're given some positive feedback, some praise, or some, affirmation. If we're constantly criticized by others, or put down, or humiliated, or shamed, we tend to kind of shrink and almost want to give up and feel very demoralized. And this is true in other situations, and certainly in practice, in the spiritual path. It's really easy to kind of feel bogged down, or to feel we can't do it, we're not good enough, we're not getting anywhere. And I think it often feels like we're not getting anywhere, because we're not really able to actually very clearly judge or see or experience the benefits of practice. Very often it feels like, well, I'm just doing this, but I'm not really noticing any change or benefit. But, okay, I just keep going. And I think for many people that is the experience. And certainly I can feel like sometimes, being in the desert, it is like this. It's like the sense of, yes, but I'm still getting upset about the same things. The same things are still annoying me. I still have these depressed states of mind. I still get really lethargic, or just want to sleep, or just want to overeat, and so on. So it's almost like there's an encouragement from the Buddha for us to rewire, to redirect our attention, to really consciously turn that around, so that we're focusing not so much on how far we have yet to go, but rather on how far we've come. And this is not to kind of pat ourselves on the back and kind of stop right there, but rather to encourage us, to lead us forwards. And I often think back to, like, I remember for myself, when I first started meditating, I was a Goenka student. I did the Goenka 10-day courses. And the first course that I did, I had this experience after a couple of days of getting up at the end of a sitting, and it had been a feeling of maybe just managing to focus the attention for a while on the breath. And but this was all very new to me. So it was a kind of revelation that I had a body at all somehow. It's like I hadn't really paid much attention to the experience of being embodied. So anyhow, I got up at the end of this sitting, and I remember walking down the stairs, because we were in an attic space in the house, Dhamma house at that time. And I was coming down the stairs, and the sun was shining through the window. And there was a man in front of me who later became a good friend, but I didn't know him at all at this point. And he had long blonde hair, and the sun was shining on his hair, and it was glowing. It was beautiful. It was so incredibly beautiful. I had the thought, I've never seen anything so beautiful in my life. And what I realized was a bit later was that the mind was actually simply clearing a little bit. At the time, it felt monumental, but later it faded into the background, and I could just sort of stow it as a small breakthrough, like a tiny taste of freedom. But actually, to remember that and to, which I just have done, and to bring it to mind, it's like, my goodness, can we celebrate? Can we see how even we may have challenges? We may be working with very difficult mind states. We may feel that there's no end to this, but can we recollect, consider, bring to mind the small experiences, the tastes of freedom along the way? Because I think that when we do, it really lifts the heart. As I remember that experience, it was like a really bright light that was suddenly shining where there had been darkness. And that's really something. And my sense is that we all have these experiences, because every time the mind sees and understands any aspect of suffering, any aspect of dukkha, every time we're willing to be with that suffering and just stay steady, there is, in each moment that we do that, there is freedom, there is progress on the path. The mind does become that little bit lighter, the heart becomes a little bit freer, and in the recollection of these experiences, we can really feel, yes, this is a doubt dispelling recollection. This is showing the benefits of this practice and encouraging me to continue, just to keep going.